Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Crochet for Baby. Thank you for watching and thank you for subscribing. In today's tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this hat for adults using the Herringbone Stitch. It's a beautiful stitch. I love this stitch, especially with this type of yarn. It's nice and silky and it flows perfectly. I also did this hat to match my cow scarf, this one here that I already showed you. I love the way that it looks with my matching hat. Now this hat here, you can make it smaller or larger for men. Down here in the information box, I'm going to leave you standard measurements for the head circumference and the height. There is no stitch multiple with this stitch, so you can make it smaller or bigger, so it's very easy to make. Okay, so I hope you like it, and without further ado, let's get started, and thank you for watching. Okay, to begin, I'll be using this 5mm crochet hook, and today I'm using this medium number 4 yarn. I love this yarn. This is, let's see, a medium number 4 yarn in this color pastels. It's the same yarn that I used to make my cow scarf. Okay, so here to begin, I have 10 chains. Here we're going to make our brim. If you want to make your brim wider, you can add more chains. I'm only going to do 10 chains so that I have 9 single crochets. So beginning into the second chain right here, I'm going to make a single crochet into the next chain, and so on until I finish this first row. At the end, I'm going to have a total of 9 single crochets. So that's 9 single crochets right there. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now we're going to turn, chain 1, and repeat the same thing, but we're only going to go through the back loops of each one of the single crochets. So right here. This is how I'm going to make my brim, and we're going to do this for about 70 rows. This hat here is going to be for adults, so for me it's about 70 rows. You can also make this hat for any size, any age. In the information box, I'm going to leave you standard measurements, so make sure to check that out so that you can make your hat for any other size. Okay, so I'm here at the end of the second row. Turn, chain 1. Again, repeat the same thing. Okay, so continue like this until we have about 70 rows. If you're making this hat for any other size, check out the measurements that I'm going to leave. The only important thing is that make sure that you make your brim in multiples of 2 or even number of rows. Okay, continue like this, and we'll meet you at the end of row 70 to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I did a total of 70 rows for my brim, and it's measuring without stretching like this, just like it is. It measures 18 inches, but once I stretch it is about 21 inches or about 53 centimeters. Make sure that when you make your brim, make sure that you stretch it and then measure it. That way it's going to fit nice and snug around your head. It's not going to be too loose or too tight. This type of brim is very, very stretchy, so make sure you do that. If you're making this hat for any other size, you need to do the same thing as well. And make sure that your rows are in multiples of 2. Okay, so here what we're going to do is we're going to join both ends. So to do that, I'm going to insert my hook here into this first stitch, then grab this loop, bring it through the front, chain 1, then go back into the same stitch here and into the first single crochet back here, grab a loop and make a slip stitch. Into the next stitch here, and into the second single crochet back here, grab a loop and make a slip stitch. This is how I'm going to join both of these ends, so continue like this, and I'll meet you once this part here is done to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I finished joining both ends here, and that's what it looks like. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change this hook here to a 6mm crochet hook, and we're going to chain 1. Now here we're going to make single crochets along the top. We're going to make 1 single crochet for each row that we made, so that at the end of this row we're going to have 70 single crochets. So beginning here to the side, we're going to make our first single crochet, and then right here, right in the very middle where both rows join, we're going to make another single crochet, then along the side, and then right in the middle right here. This is how I'm going to continue for this row of single crochets. So continue like this, and I'll meet you once this row here is done to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this row of single crochets, and I have a total of 70 single crochets. Now here, what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, and into this first stitch, we're going to insert our hook, grab a loop. We have 3 loops in the hook, take 1 loop off, close. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next single crochet, grab a loop, take 1 loop off, 2 loops in the hook, close. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, take 1 loop off, 2 loops, close. Yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, take 1 loop off, 2 loops, close. This is how you work the herringbone stitch, and it's worked in a continuous circular round like this. Okay, so continue like this for this first row. I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this first row of our pattern stitch. Now here we're just going to continue working the same thing, our pattern stitch of this herringbone stitch. See, like this. And this is the second row now, just like this. From here on, we're just going to work in a continuous round until we have the size that we need. I'm not sure exactly how many rows I'm going to do, but continue like this from here on, and I'll meet you at the end of this row to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of the 11th row, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 rows, and it's measuring. Let's see, it's about 15.5 centimeters, which is about 6 inches. Now we're going to change hook size. We're going to stop using the 6 millimeter, and we're going to grab this 5 millimeter. This is so that we start shaping the crown. So here we're going to do a couple rows using this hook. So all we're going to do is the exact same thing. We're just going to continue with our pattern stitch. Here I'm going to put a stitch marker to mark the first row, so that way I can tell you how many rows I'm going to do using this hook. Okay, so continue like this, and I'll meet you at the end of this row to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of the 5th row using this 5 millimeter crochet hook, and it's got a total measurement of about 19.5 centimeters, which is about, let's see, 7 3/4 of an inch. So now here, what we're going to do is with this same hook, we're going to now start reducing. So into this next stitch, we're going to yarn over, insert your hook, grab a loop, 3 loops on the hook, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop. I have 4 loops on the hook. This loop that I just pulled, I'm going to remove 2 loops. I have 2 loops on the hook, close. Here's the stitch reduction. Now again, yarn over, insert your hook into the next stitch, and we're going to work a normal herringbone stitch. Now into the next 2, we're going to do the same thing we did here to reduce a stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook into the first stitch, grab a loop, insert your hook into the next stitch, grab a loop, take 2 loops off, 2 loops on the hook, close. This is how I'm going to continue for this row. Just alternate between a normal stitch and then a stitch reduction, like this. Okay, so continue like this. Oh, before we finish, I'm going to put a stitch marker right here to mark the first row of reduction. So I'll meet you here at the end to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this first row of reductions. I have 46 stitches. If you have 1 or 2 stitches less or more, it's okay. Here we're just going to continue reducing a bit further. We're just going to do the following. We're going to yarn over, and into the next 2 stitches we're going to work our stitch reduction like this, and into the next 2 we're going to do the same thing. In this row, this is all we're going to do, just stitch reductions. Okay, so continue like this, and I'll meet you here at the end of this row right here to show you what we need to do next. Okay, I'm here at the end of this second row. Continue for 1 more row all around, and I'll meet you here again to show you what we need to do next. We're just going to continue in the same way we did this second row. Okay, I'm here at the end of this last row of reduction. I have about 10 stitches here all around. If you have a couple of stitches less or more, it's okay. Just join here to the next stitch with a slip stitch. Now I'm going to pull this loop, tie a knot. I've already cut my yarn, so I'm just going to pass my yarn through the inside. This is going to be the right side. Now this stitch is semi-reversible. This is what it looks like from the other side. It's also very pretty. That's what it looks like. So here I'm just going to weave this yarn that I left around the remaining stitches. So go into the first stitch, skip one and into the next, go in, skip one and into the next, go in. Oops, I think I skipped one here, or I skipped two. Let's see, skip one and into the next, go in, skip one, skip one and into the next, and into this last stitch here. Now here we're just going to pull this yarn and close that hole, and with this loop that I left here, tie a knot. Just going to hide my ends, cut this yarn, and now we're going to turn this over, and that's what it looks like from the top. Now this hat, I noticed that it's a little slouchy, and it's kind of like a tam style. I tried it on and I love the way that it fits. See, that's what it looks like. And I think it looks really great. I'm going to add a pom-pom. You can leave it without if you like. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like with that on. Okay, so here's my finished hat. I added the pom-pom, and that's what it looks like. So my hat is done. Now I have a matching hat for my cowl scarf. Here it is. That's what it looks like. I'll leave the link to this tutorial down here in the information box. Okay, so this has been today's tutorial. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.